Hi there, it's good to see you. It's Alex from Alex M Photography and I am out and about at Buttermere in the Lake District. I've come out to have a look around. Freedom since lockdown has sort of ended, hasn't it really, unofficially, and I am on a trip up to the Lake District for the day. I've got a freedom pass from the wife and I am out to make the most of it. Please like and please subscribe. The more you subscribe and like, the more we can take this channel forward, and that would be absolutely brilliant. Thank you to everyone that watches these videos. It means a lot to me, especially at the moment when there's so much going on in the world that is bad, from the virus to the racism that is on display in America. So it's good to be out and about somewhere beautiful where you can get a bit of peace and quiet and a bit of mindfulness while you do your photography. So even though it said in last night's forecast that there was going to be a minimal amount of wind, I thought I'd come to Buttermere and at last get that fabled reflection shot of the trees and the farmhouse at the far end. But there is in fact a little breeze on the water which is preventing that reflection. But hopefully it might calm down in a second and I will get that pano shot of the far end of the lake with a good reflection. Looks like there's some mist rolling in from behind me and probably a little bit of rain. But hey, a bit of rain at the moment can't hurt, can it? You know, it's been dry and warm for a couple of months now, hasn't it? Really, since lockdown started. It was ironic how they wanted you to stay in your house, but the weather was outside was absolutely gorgeous, wasn't it? So I've travelled up here from Wakefield this morning, up at 4:30 so I can be here for a reasonable time. I was never going to try and do sunrise because let's face it, I'd have had to set off about midnight if I wanted to get here for sunrise, and that's just not doable really, is it? It's not doable for someone who's a working guy and has family to tend to as well. I can't really do that sort of thing. So, but I'll be looking forward to autumn when I can get up here at sunrise. It's a bit more doable, isn't it, that? Getting here for a 7:30, 8 o'clock sunrise than a 3, half 3, 4 o'clock. I really do love coming to Buttermere. It's a gorgeous lake. It's really beautiful and it's one of the best lakes that you can come to. It's about a 4-mile walk all the way around, fairly flattish. So even for an old gimmer like me, I can manage that walk. At one end there's a couple of pubs and a couple of cafes and a big car park with toilets and a campsite, and at the other end there is also a car park and a cafe. So you're well suited. You could do 2 miles, have a coffee and a cake, go back the other way another 2 miles and have a couple of beers and a bag of crisps and some dry roasted peanuts. So the rain's cleared a little bit and there is a bit of light coming out at the far end of the lake as predicted. I'll get a couple of shots of that and hopefully get these lenses clean in a minute. So I've got this other scene going up behind me. Don't know if you can see it, but there is a stream coming down the hillside with the cloud at the top and trees at the bottom, and it looks quite nice. I've taken it and I'll put it up. All my images will be at the end of the video. So the wind's got up a bit now and there's absolutely no chance of a reflection shot. Reflection shot or not, you just can't beat being out in the countryside, especially at the moment. I've not been here since 8th of March and I've really missed it. I've really missed being able to get out with a camera and do these videos for you guys. It's the only reason really that I come out, is to bring hopefully beautiful video and images to you guys that watch it on YouTube, to people that can't necessarily get out for whatever reason to this sort of place. Just remember though, when you are here, wherever you are here, take your rubbish with you. Either put it in a bin near where you are, or put it in a bag, put it in the boutique car and take it home and put it in your own bin. I don't really have any hard and fast compositional rules that I stick to, as you may guess from my work. I try and stick vaguely to the rule of thirds, but if a picture looks good with the main part of the image in the middle of it, I tend to put it in the middle. If it looks good on the side, I put it on the side. I think it's a personal thing into how you judge your image and whether you think it looks great or not. You know, fair enough, if you're in a competition, then there's probably a whole load of judges going over it with a ruler, and it may be a cracking image, but you might lose that competition because you're not precisely on a third line or whatever. I shoot most of my landscape images somewhere between f7.1 and f14. I don't really go to the f22 end because it quite often shows up what spots you've got on your sensor. I shoot most of my images on ISO 200 as well, as that's the base ISO for my LUMIX G9. I think the LUMIX G9 is a cracking camera for what I need. I'm not going to be making 70-foot posters. I think it's probably, for me, the best micro 4/3 stills camera there is out there. I've obviously not had a look at the new Olympus, but I just think it's a gorgeous camera. It's got great image stabilization, which for a bit of an old dodger like me with a bit of a shake is great. You know, the lens image stabilization and the in-body stabilization is just brilliant. I love it, and it's got a good fast frame rate for when I'm shooting moving things like aircraft and whatever. I just think it's a brilliant all-round camera, and I just think it's an absolute quality piece of kit, and I wouldn't be without it anywhere. If I lost my LUMIX G9, I would be distraught. I just think it's a great camera. Ergonomically, it's well set up, it's comfortable to hold, it's not too big, it's not too small. There's a great dynamic range on it, there's a great bracketing system on it. You can set up the dials and buttons however you want. It's got 2 card slots. The only tiny complaint I have is that the trigger is a bit sensitive, but as I do most of my stuff on 2-second delay, that don't really matter, so that doesn't bring it down at all for me. I know some people whinge about it, but I don't think it brings it down at all. Just put it on a delay, stand back. You know, you've probably, if you're into landscapes, you've probably got it on a tripod anyway, so it's not like you need to take the instant picture with it, is it? You know, it really is a fantastic camera. So there's a bit of light coming out now. Fair enough, it's a bit windy, but I'm going to take a few more images and I will put them up at the end of the video. This really is just the place to be. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so happy being here. It's just absolutely brilliant.